Now, I have wanted one of these FCX10 Pros since they were first released. I was never able to get my hands on one, but now we have the V2. Now, one of the things I really like about FMS is they actually listen. And people weren't happy about some of the things on the V1, so they've gone away, they've updated it, and now we've got this V2. So we've now got a higher KV brushless motor. It's now 2100 KV. They've also updated the gearbox, so they've done away with like the dig and the switchable four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive, so now we've got permanent four-wheel drive. So again, hopefully more reliability, less things to go wrong. They've also updated the gearing on the gearbox as well. So again, hopefully better slow speed control. They've also made some other changes, like they've updated the shock oils. Hopefully we've got nicer suspension movement. They've changed the tyres. They've switched to single stage foams instead of dual stage foams. And they've updated the CVs to be spring steel, which is apparently stronger than stainless steel. Don't ask me, I don't know, but it sounds good. Hopefully all those changes should give us a much better rig. Right, let's get this thing out of the box because I cannot wait to get it outside, hit some rocks and find some mud. Now, I absolutely love the LC80 body. I just think it looks fantastic. You know, you got that full interior, you got loads of scale details on it. Let's see what the suspension's like. Ooh, that's actually pretty nice. I like that. Look at that. That is nice. See, to me, that's what a rig should be like, a scale rig. You should have that kind of body movement, so it just looks fantastic on the trail. That looks like it's ticking boxes for me. You can see you've got your full interior in there, you've got your driver in there. I kind of wish they didn't have a driver in there, or at least just included it, but it was optional and they had a full seat, so you could, you know, put your own driver in there if you wanted to, which I think would look a bit more scale and probably what a lot of people would like. But you can see you've got like your windscreen wipers on there, you've got your full dash and everything. You've got your snorkel, you've actually got mirrors, you've got molded door handles and everything. Considering it is a Lexan body, it is a really nice looking body. Let's check out these tyres. Ooh, they feel grippy and wow, they are soft. That is like crazy soft. Look at that. That's going to be interesting to see what they're actually like. Hopefully they haven't made them too soft, but I am liking that squish. It's a lovely squish. And if you can hear, they are vented. So obviously that should give us some nice, well, squish. The other thing I've just noticed as well, getting out of the box, that we've got these diff lock covers. They look like they are brass as well, which is going to add a bit of weight. One thing I did have on my brushed one, I think, after I ran it a while, was the actual mechanism for the diff lock can get hit on the rocks and stuff like that, and then you can have issues then with it not engaging properly. So now you've got these nice meaty covers. It'd be interesting to see what it's like. Hopefully they don't get hung up or anything, because you can see they are slightly sticking out from the actual axle housing itself. Now, if you're not familiar with the FCX10 chassis, you know, you've got a metal chassis, you've got metal forelinks on the front and the rear, you've got plastic drive shafts but with metal ends. It is portal axles, and obviously we've got those updated CVs. It does actually have full metal drivetrain in it as well, so again, hopefully should be nice and reliable. You can see that brushless outrunner motor sneaking through there. It is a fully waterproof motor as well, which is really, really cool. We'll have a look at that when we get the body off. Speaking of which, they've still got these little quick release mechanisms, which I'm looking forward to seeing what these are like when we run it through some mud and some water, because I did have an issue with the brushed version where once you've got some grit and stuff in there, they wouldn't fully like turn. So it'd be interesting to see if they've updated that as well. So with those body clips undone, we can lift the body off. And we can have a closer look at the body. You can see you've got LED lights on the front. You can actually get to the interior and everything in there as well. Looks like you can actually remove the driver's head. I think they might come with a hat, at least they did on one of the previous ones. You've got your light control module on the back there, and then this one actually uses magnets basically for the LED lights. So you basically, when you pop the body off, the magnets actually create the connection between that and you know, the electronics, which is a really, really cool design, to be fair. You can see it's a really nice looking body. It is fully licensed as well, so you've got your Toyota badges and everything like that on it. You can see we've got those inner arch liners, which is really nice, going to keep all the dirt and everything out from the actual body and all the electronics. You've got that 3541 2100 kV brushless outrunner motor. Like I said, it is rated as being waterproof. You've got a 50 amp brushless ESC, and it is either 2 or 3S capable. Comes with an XT60 connector. You've actually got a standalone receiver, which is really, really nice. So again, if you did want to do any upgrades or anything like this, you know, it's much easier. You could retain the stock radio gear if you wanted to. You've got your battery tray here. Doesn't come with the battery, so you do need to supply your own battery. Decent Velcro straps holding it on. You can see we've got our power button up here as well, which is waterproof. And then we've got our servos here for our locking diffs. So each one's going to control the front and the rear locking differentials. You can see the little kind of push mechanisms there for the body mounts on the front and rear. And then we've got those magnets there as well for the LED lights. You know, I do like how everything's nicely tucked away and everything like that. You know, it does look decent quality. You can also see as well with the body off that the body does locate in our sliders, which is cool. So what else comes included? You get a really nice Flysky 10-channel transmitter. Now, we're not going to make use of all of the channels, but, you know, it is a fantastic radio to come with a ready to run, especially for the price. But you can see you've got all your usual stuff like your throttle trim, your dual rate adjustments, your reverses and everything. Some of these will be for our locking diffs and everything. You've also got your dip switches across the top. Now, I will check to see if we make use of these. On the brushed version, you could use them to control, like, you know, forward brake, reverse, your drag brake and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what controls we have with the brushless system. But absolutely fantastic radio. I absolutely love these. And yeah, an amazing radio for a ready to run. So we also get some goodies included as well. You actually get an optional skid plate you can install, so you could fit that underneath if you wanted to, give some extra protection to the bottom of the chassis. You get the additional front bumper you can install as well, which I will be sticking that on because I just love the look of that. It's just nice and meaty. You also get a little bag of goodies. So you get like a hat for your drive, you get a wheel wrench tool, and you also get the yellow lights that you could then fit to the front bumper if you wanted to. And they do actually come, it might be hard to see, but they do actually come with the light buckets in the bag as well. So they don't come with LEDs, but you could then add them to the front bumper if you wanted to. You also get a sticker sheet if you want to chuck any of those on there. And you also get some number plate stickers. And then you also get your manual. Mine got a little scrumpled in the box, but it does have all the parts diagrams, all the part numbers, and all the instructions for, you know, controlling the transmitter and everything like that. So I will have a look at the functionality in a minute as well. Okay, got my 3S battery in there. I forgot to say it does have a 2-speed gearbox as well. So you've got your little micro servo there for the 2-speed. So yeah, locking diff servos on this side, 2-speed servo on that side. So we've got our XT60 3S battery plugged in. So the transmitter takes 4 AA batteries, or it does have a port that you could use a 2S LiPo instead. Now, in terms of the actual functionality on the transmitter, channel 6 doesn't do anything. That would have been for the 4-wheel drive and dig on the previous models. Channel 5 is to control your lights, so you basically just turn your lights on and off. Channel 4 is actually for your 2-speed. Channel 3 doesn't do anything. And then on the top, channel 9 and 10 don't do anything. But if we do channel 7 and 8, you might have heard that that actually locks our front and rear diff. So we can actually control them independently. So we could unlock the front one and just have the rear one locked. We could have them both unlocked. We could just have the front unlocked, or we can have them both locked, which is cool. Now, it doesn't say anything in the instructions about the dip switches, but I'm pretty sure that is forward brake, reverse, and then we'll have a look and see if these ones do control our drag brake at all. So we'll try that in a minute, but it doesn't tell you in the manual what the dip switches do, which is a shame. So let's see what this brushless system is like. So I'm going to feather the throttle. Nice, straight away we can see us moving there. I think that's going to give us some nice slow speed control. Let's see what we got in terms of punch. There we go, we got to hear that thing. Let me get it off the desk. So this is still in first gear at the moment. Look at that. So it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of wheel speed in first gear, but that sounds like an RC aeroplane or something, like a jet taking off. That is crazy. And then if we chuck it in second gear, I think that's going to have some wheel speed in second gear. We'll give it a try when we're out on the trail. So in terms of how waterproof it is, so like I said, the motor is completely waterproof. The ESC says it's waterproof and dustproof. The receiver and the light control module are both PPX4, so it has an overall splash-proof rating because of the receiver and the light control module. But we will be running it through some mud and some water and see what it's like. Now, you can get to the power button just by popping your finger in here and then just turn it on. It's a little bit fiddly, but at least you can still get to it without even taking the body off. So it does actually come with a 25 kilogram steering servo as well. So you can see it's got a decent bit of speed to it, and if we just put some weight on it, you know, we've still got some decent turning, especially considering how grippy those tyres are on the bench. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like. We'll try it on some rocks and stuff like that. Right, let's try out these lights. So as you can see, we do have the dreaded indicators. And then if we turn the lights on the transmitter, now that is one of the things I love about the LC80s, both for the big ones and the little ones. The fact that we've got proper old school, like yellow light, that just looks absolutely awesome in my opinion. Like, that is just so cool. You do have lights on the rear as well, so you've got indicators again. They're not quite lined up with the lights, which is a little bit of a shame, but you have got indicators there. And if I just stop it from flying into the camera, you do have reverse lights, which are really your tail lights. I'm going to have a look in a minute and see if we can swap the wires around to have them just as permanent tail lights. In my opinion, that's how they should do it out of the box. You know, that should just be on as soon as you have the headlights on. You know, you don't want red reverse lights, do you? Let's be honest. Now with those metal gears, it is a little bit loud, if you can hear. That brushless motor sounds absolutely mental. I love it. We'll see what it's like out of the trail, but that to me just sounds awesome. I just want to show you the locking diffs as well. So if we just slow crawl along, we can stop each wheel from turning while we're unlocked. And then if we lock the front diff, which is on channel 7, and then if we go again, you can see now the front diff is locked, but the rear is still open. And then if we lock the rears as well on channel 8, you can see the rear is now locked and the front is locked. So now we're full four-wheel drive with all locked diffs. But if we want to, we can unlock the front and just have the rear locked. So now again, rear's still locked, but front is unlocked. So I do like the fact that you can switch between the different modes. I mean, I generally run mine locked all the time, to be honest. On my TRX4, I just swapped it to permanently locked diffs. But, you know, you do got the option, you have got the option. And obviously with them unlocked, you'll have like a better turning circle. Again, we'll give it a try on the trail so you can see what it's actually like. Right, I'm going to get the bumper installed and then let's get this thing outside and see what it's like. Okay, let's see what this thing's slow crawl is like on the rocks. Now we're unlocked diffs at the moment, so just in case you're interested what it's like between unlocked and locked. Man, this is super slow crawl, wowzer. Oh, there you go, look. Straight away, I don't know if you can see there, front wheel isn't even turning, look, because we're unlocked. Let's just lock them up. There we go, that's a bit better. Look at that squish on the front. I don't know where you can see that, but wow, that is some squish, that is crazy. Now that is a lovely slow crawl, look. I mean, that is super slow and controlled. Now, one thing you might be able to see, look there on that front tyre, I don't know if you can see that as we were turning, we'll try on some other rocks as well, but one of my concerns with those foams being super soft is that they'll fold over quite a lot. So if you're trying to like side hill or turn, I mean, look at that, that is crazy. Look, there's getting caught on the wheel arch as well. Oh, we're stuck on a rock there, but yeah, one of my concerns, oh, that's how windy it is, it's blowing the camera. Yeah, one of my concerns was that the tyres will just kind of fold over, so then you'll kind of just like potentially tip over at some points, but we will give it a try. I mean, that slow speed control is fantastic. I'm just wondering if it's going to be too slow though. We'll find out in a minute, but probably more so when we're on the trail, to be honest. I mean, look at that. That is super slow and controlled. Let me just come over here a minute just so we can see. Oh, look at that flex for Daisy. Yeah, look at that tyre. I mean, I think they might have gone slightly too soft, to be honest, but we'll see, we'll see. We won't judge it too soon. Oh, I mean, that is some fantastic slow speed control, fair dues. Let's see if we can get the bumper up here. Oh, we're getting some rubbing from the tyres on the arches as well. Come on, there we go, that's what we wanted. I mean, look at that, that is lovely and controlled. Lovely bit of flex as well. See what it's like coming up here. Oh, very nice indeed. I like it. I do quite like the noise when you're kind of slow crawling like this as well from the Brushless system. I mean, that is lovely and controlled, like, nice and smooth. It's doing a great job so far, isn't it? Now what I'm interested to see is we're going to make our way over there so that we can try and do the hill climb. I want to see what it's like with this weight balance, whether it tips over trying to climb the hill. Oh, lovely bit of scrape in there, but it's doing all right so far. Right, we'll go for the lesser line first of all. So just up through here. Oof, trying to actually stand up without getting blown over. I mean, look at that, that is lovely and controlled. If you just want to do some slow crawling, this thing would be absolutely fantastic. Look. It's just very nice. Yeah, we'll definitely get a bit of rubbing from the tyres on the arches. Now the bit I want to test, let's see if we can get through here. Oh, nice, there we go. Yeah, the bit I want to try is going up this. It's almost like a vertical incline. So let's just see how this thing does. Again, test out that tyre grip and test out its weight distribution. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that on the mic, but they are trying to bite. Okay, let's just take a slightly different, whoa. This wind is literally blowing me over. This is crazy. Right, let's just try and get up here. Oh, go on. Nice, they're trying. Considering how soft they are, they're trying. Let's just do a little hop of that first ridge, because sometimes that first ridge gets you stuck. Right, I moved over a bit just so you can see how steep this is. Oh, tried to save it. Oh no, one of our light buckets has come off. First victim. Right, hang on, let's try a bit of punch again on that ridge. Oh, it's not having it, is it? Considering how soft those tyres are, we are still struggling a bit. There we go, there we go, there we go. Go on, up and over. There we go, a bit of wheel speed in the right line and we did make it up. And to be fair, that's quite a slope to get up, so that's pretty impressive. Took a while, but we got there. Right, let's just test out that slow speed descent. So back down the same slope. I'm just feathering the throttle ever so gently. I just want to see what it's like coming down. Hopefully it doesn't tip over. That is doing a lovely job so far. I mean, the slow speed on this thing is, so far, I'm very impressed. I might have to turn the wheel just slightly so we don't tip as we come down. I mean, look at that, that is fantastic. When I let go of the throttle, look, we've got full stop, so it's not running away with itself. That, I mean, you might want to get a cup of tea now because this might take a while, but look at that. That is a lovely slow speed descent, fair dues. And I'm amazed, to be honest, it's not just flying down considering how steep that slope is. I mean, the wheels are only plastic. I reckon get some weighted wheels in there and it'd be even better weight distribution, nicely balanced. Obviously, it would climb even easier because, to be fair, the tyres are doing a pretty decent job. Obviously, you've got a, quite a heavy body there, or at least, the center of gravity is quite high. There we go, look at that. That did absolutely fantastic. I am well impressed with that. This is another nice rock formation we got here as well, but it can get quite slippy, to be honest, because the tide's not long gone out, so obviously you get that kind of leftover seawater, which makes it a bit slippy. Let's just see if we can get it turned around, go up here. Nice, oh. Unloaded a bit too much there. There we go. Right. And then where we're going is up here. We've got a couple of different lines to choose. We'll try a harder one first of all, which I don't think it'll get up because it'll be too top heavy, but we'll give it a try. Let's do a little hop. No, that's just going to tip over. Okay, let's just try coming up this one here. And then I'm going to try and go around if we can. And again, we'll see what the weight's like if it tips over. I don't know how well you can see that with the sunlight, but that is quite an angle, look. Oh! Right, let's straighten her out a little bit. Oh! I was kind of hoping it wouldn't tip over then, that was close. But we should be able to go straight up. But yeah, I wanted to see what the kind of side hilling was like. I mean, again, you know, rock crawling and stuff like this, as much as you've got that slow speed control from the brushless system, you know, I wouldn't say this is a rock crawler. You know, with the body style, it's more of a trail truck really. But, you know, you can do some, I mean, look at that. That's, with weighted wheels on it and a touch of brass on the front, honestly, it would completely transform it. But to be fair, the stock tyres have got some decent grip, look, all that squish and everything as well. That's doing a lovely job. Look, we're just crawling into the sky there. That was a lovely shot. Nice. I absolutely love the flex on this thing. I mean, look at that flex. That is lovely. I mean, to be fair, the slow speed on this thing is absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like on the trail, because I was a little bit concerned that maybe it was too slow. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, when you put it in second gear, what it's like, you know, whether you can still kind of like navigate some obstacles and stuff like that. But I mean, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. It's such a cool looking rig as well, isn't it? I mean, I do love an LC80, and I think they have done a really good job on the body. That is so nice. Oh, look, on the bumper just cleared coming down, then a little bit of scrapage. Let's just see what the slow crawl's like in second gear, just to show you we are in second. You could do wheelies in second gear. So we do have a bit of sand on the tyres now, because I've just been over on the sand, which is never a good idea, but you know, someone's got to do it. Right, so we're gonna slow crawl up here in second gear. Oh, look at that, even in second gear, look, that is still nice and controlled, like no hesitation. That is really, really good, to be fair to it. We've definitely got some body roll going on there, haven't we? But yeah, definitely a bit more weight low down. Oh, this thing will be really, really nice. So that is fantastic for second gear, look, and then you can just rip it if you want to. And then let's see what it's like descending in second gear as well, shall we? So it might run away with itself in second, but let's just see. Oh, wind's blowing my camera again. Oh, the squish on those tyres is insane. Look at that, even in second gear, look, the slow speed descent. This thing has got lovely control, hasn't it? So good. Bit of scrapage. And then off we go in second. One of the things I do quite like about the way they've geared this with the brushless system is that you can just like crawl along in second gear. So, you know, you got a decent little pace to be going along in second gear, but then when you are like trailing or whatever, coming up to obstacles, we're still in second gear. You know, we're not even having to change back into first or anything. We can just actually crawl. Oh, bit of push over on the tyres then. Yeah, you can just basically crawl along nicely, like trailing in second gear. But then obviously you're in second ready then if you then want to give it a bit of wheel speed and like pick up the pace again. It's actually pretty quiet when you're just moving along in second gear as well. There's this kind of like an underlying, well, the noise of the brushless system where it almost sounds like kind of metal on metal. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but otherwise it's, you know, generally quite quiet. Right, let's just see what our wheel speed is like. So we're going to go full throttle in first gear. Yeah, you can see it is insanely slow in first gear, but obviously that's what gives us that really nice slow speed control. That is literally maxed out in first gear. And then if we chuck it in second gear, you can see it's got a decent amount of pace in second gear, to be honest. That's all right, isn't it? That's got plenty of go in it, you know, especially for like trailing and stuff. Right, I'm going to try and leave it in second gear as much as possible for some obstacles and just see what it's like. And then we'll switch to first gear if we need to. Oh, we're getting a bit stuck there on the front bumper. So yeah, let's try and actually like just crawl it around in second gear. Excuse the noisy helicopter. Oh. So we're unlocked diffs at the moment. Don't know if you can see, we are just spinning that wheel on the rear. So yeah, we're unlocked at the moment. You can see the front isn't turning at all again. So let's lock up the front and the rear diff. There we go, much better now with the diffs locked up. And again, still in second gear. That is a lovely slow crawl in second gear, look. And considering it's actually come up against obstacles as well, it's not cogging. You know, that's actually doing a really, really good job. Be interesting to see what these tyres are going to be like on the trail as well, with some roots and stuff like that, especially once they get a little bit damp and stuff. You know, they were pretty good on the rocks, but yeah, it'd be nice to see what they are like on the trail. There you go, that's nice. See what our suspension movement's like. I do much prefer this suspension to the previous, like I had the brushed LC80, and it was a little bit stiff, I found. I'm not sure if I said as well when I unboxed it, but this is running the dual spring setup, same as the brushed LC80, which is different to the K5. The K5 was just a single spring, and I really liked the suspension on the K5, but you can see even just with that change of oil now, this suspension is so much nicer. Let's just see if we can use that brushless power to get over this down tree. I'm not sure our bumper's going to actually clear the tree though, to be fair. Oh, there we go. We're going to have to probably do some maneuvering so we don't tip over. Try and get the wheels up on there without tipping. There we go. And then hopefully we can just hop it. Yes, lovely, lovely. Got some more kind of climbing and some roots here again. We're still in second gear at the moment. It's really nice crawling in second gear as well, because that is so quiet, but still lovely and controlled look. To be honest, I think I'll probably hardly ever switch into first gear, except for if I come up to some like really technical bits or something. Oh, it's just started raining. How about that? There you go, you can see there's a tiny bit of hesitation there. All right, we best go find some more of these bits and obstacles to take on before I get soaking wet, because it was not forecast to rain and it's just started raining. All right, let's go. Well, it seems like even though it was forecast to be completely dry, it's still raining and it's not stopping. So I guess we are testing this thing in the rain as well. So let's just do this bank climb. Obviously now it's wet, the ground's wet. Oh, I don't know if you can hear them, the tyres are rubbing on the rear arches. This is still in second gear. Obviously we can hop it, but I just wanted to see what it was like. Actually, that's one thing I want to try as well, is what's the drag brake like in second gear? So if we just let it free roll, well, yeah, so it is just kind of free rolling, it's not stopping, so we don't really have much of a drag brake in second, it seems, but we'll try it going forward as well in a minute. Right, let's just get over this route a minute. There we go, bit of wheel speed, and then up through here. Should be nice and easy. Lovely squish on the tyres. There you go, look, even in the wet, I still did a really good job. Let's just see if we can make it up here in second gear as well. Again, you know, loads of leaves on the ground. There's some roots under those leaves as well. So it'd be interesting to see how well it gets up here. That's not doing bad. Oh, we had a little bit of hesitation there. I mean, I imagine we'll need to use some wheel speed to be honest to get up here, but let's just work those tyres a minute and just see. Okay, let's give it a bit of wheel speed. Ah, there we go. Look, easy with wheel speed. Very nice. Easy. Now, I might come to regret this, but I guess we should see how waterproof this thing is as well, shouldn't we? So, like I said, the brushless system is meant to be completely waterproof, but the rest of it is basically splash resistant. See how deep we go. Again, we're still in second gear. Nice. Oh, stuck on a rock, hang on. Very nice. Now our foams are going to be absolutely drenched now, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. There you go, handled it pretty nicely. Let's just see what it's like coming over these roots now. The tyres are all nice and wet as well. Oh, look at that, very nice. It is a very nice looking rig, isn't it? I'm glad they went for this colour choice as well for the Pro one. I think I much prefer this blue to the grey, to be perfectly honest. But it is a cool looking rig, isn't it? Oh, a bit of rubbing on the tyres then, don't know if you could hear that. Let's just try go up and over this bit, and then we have, well, the tiniest bit of mud. Even though it's raining now, it's been fairly dry. We haven't had enough kind of constant rain to create any decent kind of muddy bits. So this is the best thing we've got by here. Oh, that was a bad line by me, wasn't it? Right, let's just come through here. Still in second gear. Be interesting to see if it gets bogged down at all here and if it cogs or anything. Again, there's hardly any mud there, look, but at least we get a bit of articulation. You can see every now and again it kind of thinks about it and then it goes again, but I mean, again, for second gear crawling, that is doing a fantastic job. Yeah, there was no decent mud there, was there? Give it another month or so and then hopefully it should be like proper saturated and we can come out and do some proper mud running. If you're looking to use this thing as a trail truck, just having it in second gear, just generally trailing, is like the best of both worlds. I mean, there literally isn't a need for first gear right now. I can just leave it in second and do everything I want, and it's absolutely fine. You know, that is doing a really good job just in second gear. Oh, I almost decked it in the mud. I mean, look at that. This is doing a really good job. I'm really liking this. This is my new favorite FCX10. Well, what do you think? I mean, I really like it. I think the slow speed control in that brushless system was absolutely fantastic, even in second gear. I mean, I do think in some ways first gear was possibly too slow. I mean, you could spend just most of your time in second gear. The only time I'd say you want to switch to first gear is when you're coming to more technical sections or if you were trying to climb and you need the drag brake, because the drag brake was definitely better in first gear than second gear. I think these Batrazzi tyres did a really good job on the rocks and on the trail, although I think, to be honest, those foams are a bit too soft. I mean, I love a bit of squish, but when we were on the rocks and turning, you could see the tyre was just folding over. I think they're a bit too soft. But if you do like the stock wheels like I do, they are beadlocks, so you could chuck some silicone inserts in there. That would obviously give you a firmer sidewall so it wouldn't fold over, but you'd still have the squish. And then you could run them vented safely as well, because I didn't get it on camera, but if you'd seen the amount of water that came out of the tyres before I chucked it in the boot of the car after we'd been on the trail, I probably could have filled a pint glass with it. I mean, overall, I love the look of it. I love the lights. I much prefer the colour on this to the brushed LC80, and that suspension movement is definitely an improvement. You know, I love that articulation and the way it moved. That was absolutely awesome. Another thing I was happy to see was we didn't have any slipper clutch issues. On my brushed K5 and LC80, I did have slipper clutch issues where if you tried to launch it in second gear, it would slip a little bit. But yeah, no issues with this one. You know, we were launching it loads of times in second gear with the brushless system, so obviously all the extra torque, and no issues with the slipper clutch, which was nice. I would say I only have one complaint, and that is the body mount system, and I'll show you why in a second. So what is it I don't like about the body mount design? Mainly just that when you have ran outside, you get a bit of like water or dirt and stuff in there. And then the body mount mechanism just doesn't work as smoothly as it did when you first got out of the box. So we're clipped on at the moment. If we turn the clips, it's still unclipping the body absolutely fine. So we can still lift the body off okay. It's more so when we put it back on. So if we line it back up, we can push down the rear. You hear it clicks nicely. And then if we push down the front, it's getting stuck. And you can kind of whack it down, but you can hear, well, you might be able to hear that it's kind of engaging and disengaging. It's not clipping back inlet. Now, the simple trick is just basically just to turn it as if you were going to open it, push down on the body, and then just turn it back manually and you'll hear it click. And now the body's on there, no problem at all. But yeah, it's just a bit annoying that, you know, it can get grit in there and it gets stuck and stuff like that. You know, personally, I think they should just go back to either the K5 body mount design or just redesign this one, because it just gets a little bit frustrating really when it doesn't re-engage. Now, I did say I tried the drag brake and stuff like that, so a few things to note. I can't see any way that you can adjust the parameters on this brushless system, so I think it is set from the factory and that's all you can do with it, so you can't adjust like the drag brake, the punch, the freewheeling and all that kind of stuff like you would do on, say, like a Fusion Pro or a Fusion SE from Hobbywing. I think I did say as well that it's a 10 channel receiver and transmit. It's actually an 11 channel. Now, normally the 11th channel would be to adjust the drag brake. I don't know how well you can see that there, but it does say drag brake, but it's not connected. So even when you turn the drag brake, like I tried turning it all the way down, it did nothing. It does seem like the drag brake is just set from the factory and you can't adjust it. Again, if I'm wrong and somebody knows how to set it, then drop a comment below and let everybody else know, but I couldn't see a way to adjust it. Also with the dip switches, they don't all do anything. So for example, dip switch 1 says on it that's forward brake reverse, forward reverse. It doesn't do anything. I tried it on both. It is just forward reverse, which for me personally, I prefer that, but it's just worth noting that you can't switch between the two. However, some of the reverse dip switches do actually do something, and basically what they're doing is they're controlling the reverse on the 2-speed servo and also on the locking diff servos. So basically, if you have them down, so if we like chucked them all down like that, then basically the servos would be enabled when you turn the rig on. So what that would mean is your diffs would be locked, your 2-speed would be engaged, and then you would press the buttons to disengage them. So you can switch it around if you want to. So I guess it's personal preference as to how you want to run it. I mean, in terms of value for money, the fact that you get this 11-channel transmitter with it, I mean, the rig itself, I think, is great value for money. I mean, if you think about it, this is $489 in the US, or £489 in the UK. That's cheaper than an Axial FCX10. It's cheaper than a TRX4. Now, before everybody goes, oh yeah, but a TRX4 is built like a tank. Yeah, it is. But another thing to think about, this is only about $30 or $40 more than an RGT Rescuer. Now, I know which one I would rather have, and it wouldn't be the RGT. So again, something to think about, just food for thought. I do personally think it's good value for money. Now, if you're interested in getting one, I'll put a link in the description to where you can get it from FMS's website, both in the UK and the US, because they now have the UK website as well. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Drop me a comment if you've got any questions. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.